Hello students. So students, in the previous class we already were talking in the chapter reproduction about the fertilization process. So we discussed that how the fertilization process take place and how the embryo used to develop into the uterus of the female body. Okay. So in that student, what we had discussed that first of all what happened, the ova or that of the egg, it will be present in that of the fallopian tube, right? It is present in the fallopian tube, which is also known as a oviduct. Okay, it is also known as that of the oviduct. Now, basically what happens, student, you see the sperm reaches to fallopian tube. It reaches to that of the fallopian tube. So sperms reaches to that of the fallopian tube, which is having that of the egg or that of the ovum in it, and fusion take place due to which there is a formation of a zygote. So we can say that fusion of ovum and sperm takes place in oviduct. In oviduct or fallopian tube. Why? Because the egg or the ovum is present in the fallopian tube. Sorry. Now the sperms, when it fuses, then there is a formation of a zygote. Now this zygote is what? It is a single cell, student, and this zygote, it starts moving from that of the oviduct, from that of the fallopian tube to that of the uterus. Okay, so it moves from that of the fallopian tube to uterus. Okay, uterus is what? That is also known as the womb of the mother's body. Okay, so it will move to the uterus. It will get stick on the wall of the uterus. Basically what happened, from the uterus, this zygote receives the nutrition and nourishment from the female body. Okay, so we can write it. Gets the nutrition and nourishment from the female body. Okay, so it gets the nutrition and the nourishment from that of the female blood from the body itself. So here this zygote will get develops into the embryo, or then there will be some differentiation occur, and due to which we can recognize the different parts of the body, and at that time we will call it as a fetus. So we can say that in the uterus development occur of the zygote and embryo occurs to fetus. So development of a zygote from that of the embryo and to that of the fetus occur in case of the uterus. When the fetus is fully developed, the student, then it will comes out from the mother's womb, from the female body, through the tube-like structure, and that is known as a vagina. Okay, so through the vagina, the fully developed grown fetus will come outside to that. And this whole process, it will varies also. In some it will take 5 months, it will take 9 months in case of a human being. So in 9 months, the fetus will be fully developed and ready to come out through vagina. So this is the whole process which basically occurs during the process of fertilization. Now in this one, student, we have also discussed another thing, and that another thing is the test tube method. Okay. So what is the test tube method or in vitro fertilization? So we have also discussed about the in vitro fertilization. What is the in vitro, students? So in vitro vitro fertilization is a process, is a fertilization in which basically what happened, there is a blockage in that of the fallopian tube occur in some of the women, and that is why the sperm is not able to reach to that of the fallopian tube and fuses with that of the egg or the ovum which is present there. Okay, so to recover from it, you can, so fusion will be not take place, so mother will be not able to conceive. So we can say that, so to remove this problem, doctors, they used to take the freshly released egg and fuses with that of the sperm. So we can say that in case of in vitro fertilization, blockage of fallopian tube. So fertilization occurs outside. It occurs outside the female body. Outside the female body. How? You see, student, freshly released egg is fuses to sperms. Okay, to form zygote, and this happens in the incubator. Okay, sperms to form zygote, which happens, or which process, sperms to zygote, process is carried in the incubator. Process is carried in incubator. Now this is, students, this zygote is kept for a few weeks, especially for 1 week. So it is kept for, so we used to keep this zygote for 1 week in that of the incubator, so that we can check that whether the process of reproduction is carrying out well or not. Okay, and after that, student, when we find that the process is carrying out well, it is good enough, then we used to take that particular embryo and put it inside the uterus of the female body. Okay, so we can say that zygote is inserted in the female body. Okay, and this whole process takes 9 months, like a normal fertilization. So like that of a normal fertilization take place, and from that of a zygote, it will take that of the to fetus, or the delivery of that of the fetus. It takes 9 months. Here also the birth of the baby, it will always take the 9 months only. So since the fertilization is taking place outside to that of the female body, so that is why it is known as a external fertilization, or external fertilization, or it is also known as a in vitro fertilization. Now this baby which is formed by this method, student, that is known as a test tube baby. I already have said to you, Louis Brown was the first person who was a test tube baby. Okay. Now moving forward and trying to understand one thing, students. So you see that in this one, students, we had discussed that after 9 months there is a birth of a baby, or we can say that there are some animals which used to give birth to their young ones. Okay, and what are the name? What is the specific name we use for such kind of animals which used to give birth to their young ones? They are known as viviparous. Okay, so let us write it. Viviparous. viviparous animals. What do you understand by the viviparous animals? So, the animals, those who give birth to their young ones, they are known as the viviparous. And in case of a viviparous, the animal or the zygote formation occur inside the body of the female, and even the growth and the development from the zygote to that of the fetus also occur inside the female body, and only then the female body is able to give birth. Okay, so we can say that what are the viviparous animals? So the animals those which give birth to living young ones that have been nourished by the mother's body. So those animals which are able to give birth to their young ones, and these young ones have been nourished by that of the mother's body, such kind of animals are known as viviparous animals. Okay, these are known as the viviparous animal. Now, what are the different animal students? So, most of the animals are like that, except platypus, Mammals, they used to, most of the mammals, they used to give birth to their young ones. Even if you see human beings also, so humans are also viviparous. So whenever the question is asked that an animal giving birth to their young ones, what kind of animals they are, so you will write that we will consider them as a viviparous animals. So viviparous animals are those animals which give birth to their young ones. So this is the first type of a mode of a reproduction, you can say, or it is the first type of animals on the basis of their birth to their baby. Now the second one, students, so you are knowing that it is not necessary that all the animals they used to give birth only. You have seen birds are there, students, like hen is there, and the other birds are there, and even the reptiles are also, they used to lay egg. So instead of giving birth, they used to lay egg. So such kind of animals are also having a name, and such kind of animals are known as oviparous animal. So we can write it oviparous animal. Oviparous animals. So oviparous animals are those animals which used to lay egg, and from that egg the young one hatches. From when the egg hatches, the young one will come outside. Okay, so we can say that these are those which lay eggs and from which the young ones comes out. Okay, so we can say that these are those animals from which the young ones comes out, and basically what happened first of all, they used to lay eggs, and from the egg only egg hatches and the young ones it comes out, students. Now these oviparous animals, they used to derive the nutrition from that of the egg and which help its development. Basically what happens to this, that when the animals they used to lay egg, the egg is sufficient, it is having the nutrition, although the temperature has been provided by the mother by that process known as incubation. So in that incubation period you will see that the young one will get the sufficient amount of nutrition from that of the egg itself, which help its growth and development. Okay. So we can say that the embryo derives its nutrition from the embryo, it derives its nutrition from the egg itself, which help it in growth. Okay, so which help it in growth. There are a lot of examples of that of oviparous students, like hen is there, frog is there, snake is there, butterfly. So these are what? These are the some of the example of that of the oviparous animals. Now let us try to understand that what basically happened in the process of the fertilization in case of oviparous. So basically what happened, okay, the formation of a zygote occur as usual by the fusion, and after the fusion, when the zygote formation occur, these zygote will move to that of the oviduct, to that of the uterus. Now in the uterus what happened, there is a formation of a mini layer, protective layer. Okay, and due to the covering of that zygote from the different protective layer, there will be a formation of a hard shell. Okay, you can see the outer covering of the egg is made up of a calcium. Okay, so you can understand that it is a kind of a hard shell. Okay, so that hard shell is produced when the zygote moves to that of the uterus, and their formation of a protective covering occur inside it. When the formation of that shell occur, the zygote is still inside that of the shell. Now this shell with the zygote that we call as the egg will be laid by the mother. Now mother, she used to provide the sufficient heat or warm to that of the egg, and that period you can say that you see students when she provides the sufficient amount of a warm or heat to the egg, so the nutrition already it is getting the nutrition which is present in that of the egg only, inside that of the egg, and this zygote will develop into embryo, and from embryo to fetus, and finally when the time came when it grows properly, then the egg layer it hatches and the young one will come outside. So this period in which the laying of the egg to that of the hatching of the egg, that is known as a incubation period. Okay, or we can say that the process in which the hen, she used to provide the sufficient amount of a warm or the temperature to that of the egg, that is known as a incubation period. Okay, so we can say process of fertilization in oviparous. In oviparous, process of fertilization in oviparous animals. So you see students what happened here. So first of all, if you consider this process for that of the hen, so in case of, so if we take an example of a hen here students, so you see in case of a hen, the process of a fertilization take place as usual, like in case of a human being occur. So we can say after fertilization. After fertilization, formation of a zygote occur. Okay. So after fertilization, the zygote occurs and this zygote travels to the uterus. Travels to the uterus. Okay, so it travels to the uterus, and uterus, or you can say oviduct, sorry, from the oviduct. Sorry students, it will travel to the oviduct. Okay, so it will travel down to that of the oviduct, and in the oviduct, what happened? There is a formation of a protective layer. So oviduct, several layers of the protective material cover it. Protective materials will cover it. Okay, so several layers of that of the protective material will cover it, or we can say that there is a formation of a protective sheath around it. And since the continuous layer formation occur over that of the zygote, so there is a formation of a hard shell-like a structure, that is the outer covering of the egg. Okay, so we can write it. These layers helps in the formation of shells, eggshells. Actually, it is a kind of a hard shell which is made up of a calcium. So, formation of a hard shell over the zygote. Now, when this formation of egg occur, it will come outside. So, after that, this shell forms egg and hen lay egg. Now, okay, so after the formation of that of the shell, the hen, she used to lay egg now. Okay, now not only after that, student, what she used to do, she used to sit now on the egg to provide warmth, to provide warmth, so that proper development can take place, proper growth of embryo in the egg takes place. Okay, and when the time came, when the embryo get developed into that of the fetus, this will get you can say this will comes out by hatching the shell of the egg. Now the process, student, by which the bird or the hen, she used to provide the warmth to the embryo by sitting on it, is known as incubation. The process in which the bird like hen provide warmth to the egg by sitting on it is called incubation. Sitting on it called incubation. is called incubation. Now you see here students, after the process of the fertilization, zygote reaches to the oviduct. In the oviduct, there is a continuous formation of a protective layer over it. This layer will form, you can say it will form a hard shell. It will get converted into a hard shell over that of the embryo, and finally due to the formation of the hard shell we can say it become egg, and this egg will be laid out by the mother, and hen or the birds, they not only lay egg, but after that they used to sit over it by providing warmth to it, by providing the sufficient temperature to it, so that the proper growth can take place inside to that of the shell, inside to that of the shell, or of that of the embryo which is present in the shell. Now, the process by which she used to provide the sufficient temperature or warmth by sitting on it is known as a incubation. So, in this one students, if you see a hen, you will find that the hen or chick is there, a hen child is a chick. So, we can say that if you see a chick, the chick is very much similar to that of the hen itself. It means we can say that during the development of this these animals, they are very much, the offsprings are very much similar to their parents. Okay, so we can say that they are very much similar to their parents. The offsprings are very similar to their parents. When you find that during their developing stage, they look alike that of their parents. But it is not so for every animal. You see student, if we talk about the frog, or in case of a butterfly also, in their developing cycle, throughout their developing stage, you will find that the offsprings are different from their parents. Okay, like the formation of a tadpole occur in case of a frog, and the formation of a pupa or caterpillar occur in case of a life cycle in that of the butterfly. Okay, although in most of the cases the animals when they come out from the egg, they are similar to their parents, but it is not so for every animal. So let us discuss that what will be the life cycle of the frog or that of the butterfly. Okay, so now we will see the life cycle of that of the frog and the butterfly. So we can write in some organisms, you see the offsprings are similar to their parents. Like in case of a hen, students, you can say, like in hen. But in some, they are not similar to their parent, while their parent are adult organisms. Like in case of a frog is there, or in case of a butterfly. Basically what happened here in case of a frog, students, when the frog it lay eggs, this egg, while getting the sufficient warmth from that of the mother, this egg will hatches into that of the tadpole. And if you see the tadpole is having tail, students, and you are knowing that the frog does not have a tail. So looking at the tadpole, it's very much similar to that of the fish. So you can say by looking the tadpole, it will never seems like that of the frog. Same thing with that of the butterfly, students. In case of a butterfly, when the egg hatches, at that time these butterflies, the young ones which is present in it, it starts forming a layer, start forming a shell around it, and that is known as the pupa. And before pupa, this will seems like another stage is there before that of the pupa. That is known as the caterpillar. So at first it will be an egg, then caterpillar, then it will form a protective sheath or protective shell around it. That is known as pupa, and from that of the pupa, butterfly came out. So you see students, here also there is a change in that of the life cycle. I mean the growing stage of that of the egg to that of the butterfly, but it does not seem, either if we talk about the caterpillar or if that of the pupa, it will not similar to the butterfly, and the same thing with that of the frog, where the tadpole does not seems like that of a frog itself. Okay. So at first we will start with the life cycle of the frog, then we will understand the life cycle of the butterfly.